This is Arvin Vora, founder of Vora Method and author of The Equation for Excellence, How to Make Your Child Excel at Math. Listen, one of the biggest, most common areas that people make mistakes in math is in combining like terms. And the reason that people have so much difficulty with it is sometimes when you're combining like terms, you have to do the hardest thing you can possibly do in math. And that's to do nothing at all. You're going to have to let things sit there and actively just not do anything. Let's start off with some easy ones. And the easy ones, you're actually going to do something. So let's say if a dog, you add another dog, what are you going to have? You're going to have two dogs. Now in math, we just write that as two dog, not two dogs, but it's basically the same idea. If you have m plus m, so the first term is m, the second term is m, also m, you have an m plus another m, well, what do you get? Well, pretty much what you'd expect. You get 2m. What about something like this? Well, the first term is mn, the second term is mn, so mn plus mn, what do you get? Again, but now we're still in the easy country. What about this? Well, you have an m squared, you add another m squared. Well, what do you get? You get 2m squared. So sometimes combining like terms is pretty easy because you are doing something, but sometimes things get tricky. Now here you have an m, and then you add an n. Well, m and n aren't the same. What do you do? Well, this is the hardest thing you can do in math. You do nothing. M plus n, it's just m plus n. You don't do anything at all. When the terms are not like terms, and we'll discuss a little bit of what makes a term like versus unlike, but if two terms are not like, you don't do anything at all. You do nothing. Here you have two terms. Mn is the first term and n is the second term. Are mn and m the same type of thing? No, of course not. So what do you do when you see them? You do nothing. Here's something. What if you have m squared plus m to the third? Now here's the rule. In order for terms to be like, the bases need to be the same. And here the bases are the same. The base is m here and the base is m here. And the exponents also have to be the same. These exponents are not the same. 2 and 3 are different exponents. So m squared plus m to the third, these two terms, this is the first term here and this is the second term here, these are unlike terms. And what do you do when you have unlike terms? That's right, you do nothing. Nothing at all. All right, so here are two complicated looking terms, but they're exactly the same as each other. They're like terms, m squared n plus m squared n. It's just 2 m squared n. But what if you have this? Here's where you need to be careful. Yeah, you have some of the same numbers and letters going around, but where they are matters. Mn squared means the n is being squared. M squared n means the m is being squared. So while the numbers are the same, they're on different variables, they're on different bases. So these terms, mn squared, that's the first term. The second term is m squared n. They're not like terms. They're not the same type of term. What do you do when you don't have like terms? You do nothing. Let's take a look at this. Now here, the terms seem kind of similar. You have 3mn and 4mn, but the coefficients are different. The 3 is different, the 4 is different. So what do you do here? Well, think of it like this. Suppose you have 3 dog plus 4 dog. What do you have? You have 7 dogs, right? This is the same as that. 3mn plus 4mn. That's just 7mn. Now let's take a look at this. You have 3mn plus 4mn squared. The exponents are the same. Here the n has an exponent of 2. This n has no written exponent, which means the exponent is 1. Or you can say there is no exponent on it right now. And if you add these two different terms, well, they're not the same type of term. They're not like terms. What do you do when you have unlike terms? That's right. You do nothing at all. It's one of the hardest things to do in math. And you can imagine probably why people make so many mistakes with these. It's hard for people to do nothing. People often feel like they need to do something. And usually if you're doing something that doesn't need to be done, well, you're just doing something wrong. So it's the hardest thing. It's one of the hardest things in math. But if you can build up that skill, you're going to avoid the mistakes that everybody else is making. It's going to help you with algebra and calculus and SAT and GRE and ISCEs and GMATs and everything else. So the key rule here is if the terms are not like terms, you do nothing.